on the cloud. Screen share. All right. Give me a thumbs up if you can see my screen, Jake, or say something.
Yeah, I can see
All
it.
right, cool, cool. So you've heard me say this before. 2026 is kind of the year of the BlockBot. So right now, the first part of that is, multiple brands have done community vote and have voted in adopting BlockBot and the Win code. So we're going to see the code start to be updated as we go into the very near future here. But we need to strategically position ourselves. So a lot of activity and the community is going to be expanding with integration and different ways to earn points. So as a network grows, so does the distribution potential. So it's super important. The reason why I put this deck together is because understanding how this works in this system now, it matters more than ever. And let me go to the next slide here. So, I'm going to talk first about the distribution algorithm and how the points actually work. And this has a lot to do with maximizing your node output using like the 8-point system. And we'll dig into that. So, hopefully by the end of this training, not hopefully, definitely, especially if you guys watch a recording. So by the end of this training, you will understand how distribution is calculated. I mean, this is just brand distribution, okay? And know exactly what drives your share in that distribution. And then you're going to be able to identify the two drivers of action points, which are how you configure your node, how you connect it, and also how you stack your boost. Nothing else really matters in the base distribution. You're going to be able to calculate points and run the numbers on your own setup to take a look at like, what you can do and how to optimize it. And then, you're going to know exactly what steps to take to maximize your points. Who is this for? If you're a node owner, like this is for you. If you're new or just getting started here, trying to figure, it out, this is for you. Anybody looking to just optimize and maximize, your share in the distribution, this is for you. If you have a node, what I'm teaching today directly will impact your results in the near future. So this is super important, guys. So the first key piece is that distribution has always been based on action points, not nodes. I think, we've kind of just thought that, oh, when I buy a node, it gives me X amount of distribution. That is true, but what's really happening is it's tied to action points. Um, you know, up until, well, basically, before and now, um, it's always been like one node, one share of the distribution. It's not the node that's actually giving you the distribution. It's the point, it's the action point that comes from running the node that actually is tied to a share in a stable distribution. So it's not necessarily about how many nodes you own. Going forward, it's going to be about not only that, but how they're optimized, how they're connected. And your total action points is really the only thing that determines your share in the distribution. And you don't just earn by owning nodes, you earn more by how you configure them. And we're going to get into that. So the model has changed, but it hasn't really changed, and I'll explain what that means. The old model, and we're still under the old model, but we've actually voted in new code that hasn't been updated yet. So the old model was like super simple. It was a very simple distribution algorithm. It's essentially like one node, one point, one node, one share. Like that's it. There was no other things that a person could do to increase their distribution other than purchasing more nodes. Okay, the new model adds in different ways to earn points. So one node now can equal up to 8 points depending on how you configure it. And yet that configuration unlocks a huge difference. So, we have the same asset, the same node, completely different output. So the way you set it up determines the rewards you earn. So the interesting part about this, guys, is that two people with the same exact node can get completely different results. So let's use two examples here. Person A has a default setup. They have one node, one brand node, no connection and no boost. They're going to be earning one action point. It's the smallest possible share in the distribution. Person B has a configured setup. He's connected it to a BlockBot. He's fully boosted it. He has his foundations plugged in. And he's got 8 action points, maximum possible share. So the same node, the difference is how it's connected and configured. So right now in this base distribution, once this code goes live, there's only going to be two ways to increase your base distribution. There's going to be, another like impact distribution. We're not talking about that on this presentation, but it's going to be your configuration. And the configuration is comprised of connecting BlockBot into your brand smart node, connecting foundations, and to unlock additional points, and also boosts. You can stack boost NFT on your nodes, and there's up to four slots. And so that scales. If you have one brand node, you can stack one boost. That's it. If you have two brand nodes, you can stack two boosts per node. If you have three brand nodes, you'll have the ability to stack three boosts per node. And then four unlocks the maximum stacking, which is four boosts per node. And so in the base distribution, it's really just these things right here. It's how you configure it in with BlockBot and foundations and how many boosts you stack. That's it. Nothing else affects your base distribution, at least in the current code that we voted on. Obviously, the community can get together and make some changes and some votes. So it's very, very fluid. So I put this cool graphic together. Give a thumbs up if you like it. Heart, give a like in the chat. But I want to talk about like how your brand smart node reaches maximum output. So if you look at the top here on the top right here, you have a smart node. So once this code goes live here, the smart node is going to give you 1 point. Okay, that could be your rally node, your grow node, whatever node you have. It could be a green node. That's your base point. Okay, and then there's certain things that you can do to optimize your share in that brand's distribution. So the first thing you can do without a block bot, you can just connect in a foundations node to your smart node, and that gives you an extra point in the distribution. Um, you can connect in a block bot for another 2 points, which already has a foundations node. There's only one foundations node connection. So you could have your smart node for 1 point, connect in a foundations for another point. You can connect in a block bot for another 2 points. And if you have one node, there's one boost slot, so you can get an extra point. But if you have four brand smart nodes, the fully optimized setup here, as you can see in the picture, is a full 8 action points. So the interesting thing here is a non-connected node will earn 1 point, And a fully optimized connected node, if they have more than four nodes and have the ability to stack boosts, they could earn 8 action points. And that's essentially 8 shares in the distribution. So it's 8 times as much as what a node will produce on its own. Um, so before I get into, some other stuff, Jake, I just kind of like surprised you with all this. I don't want to just run the show here. Anything you want to cover on what we talked about so far?
No, keep rolling through it, and then maybe I'll
Okay.
chime in a little bit things at the end here because this is going really good.
Oh, boy, thank you. Um, so the next big question here is this is kind of what, Jake and I covered on the AMA, mostly Jake. I was just there for emotional support. And then, the recent town hall, not the town hall, the Learn to Earn was about this, but I just want to cover this because there is some confusion about this kind of, Foundations AI Smart Node plus Boost like battery deal. So currently, um, till April 3rd, I believe is the date. Hopefully I have that right. There's a deal that you can get, right, in the shopping cart. And each brand has it. So if you want to help support like the Rally battery, you can head over to the Rally section of the shopping cart and scroll down a little ways and you can buy Foundations node. But the deal is they come with Boost NFTs for that brand. And, traditionally, our old Boost NFTs were 6-month Boost NFTs. These ones are special. These are 12 months Boost NFTs. So the way it works is if you buy one Foundations node, you get one 12-month Boost NFT. If you buy two Foundations nodes, it will come with two 12-month Boost NFTs for each Foundations node you buy. Okay, and three gives you three per, and four gives you the maximum. So if you buy four Foundations nodes, you get four boosts each, totaling 16 Foundations nodes. So these boosts are brand specific only, meaning if I buy a Rally, a Foundations Smart Node stack or whatever inside the Rally section in the shopping cart, those boosts I will be able to assign or activate on my Rally nodes. If I want to do grow, I would go to the grow section. Now, we talked about it. Let me back up on this slide. Fully optimized and fully maximized Smart Node has four boost slots. So what that would mean if I have more than four brand smart nodes, I have the ability to add four boost to it. So what do I want to do? If I have four nodes, right? I would buy four foundation smart nodes to get those 16 boosts to fully optimize as far as boosts are concerned, my brand smart nodes. Now, here's the part that kind of confuses people. There can only be one foundation's connection in the mix. So if I already have BlockBots that I'm planning on connecting to my brand nodes, I am going to have some extra foundations nodes. That's okay. The foundations distribution hasn't even started yet. There can only be one foundations node connection to a brand node. So if you have a newer BlockBot that has a foundations node that you plan on connecting into your brand node, and you buy an extra foundations node here just to get the boost to fully optimize your brand node, you are going to have some extra foundations nodes. That's okay. We don't even know what that will look like, but it will be something. It's the foundational layer to everything we're doing. So I'm gonna jump on this next slide. So it's real simple, guys. Let's kind of dumb it down and not get lost in the complexities. How do you maximize your smart node? So step one is you want to have a block bot. You don't have to. I think this is important, but if you want to fully optimize your brand smart node, you want to add in a BlockBot connection. Okay? And then what's the second thing you can do? You want to fill all four boost slots for a maximum 8 total action points. So we talked about this a little bit, but here's the difference. Here's what people aren't understanding. So let's just talk about this. Example, Node A has a minimal setup, no connections, no boost connected to it, no foundations, no blockbot connected to it. They're earning one action point, which is one share in the daily distribution, right? It's the lowest possible distribution share. But node B has actually been paying attention. They watched this. They're now understanding how to fully optimize. All their connections are active. They have a block bot with the foundations connected in. They took advantage of the foundation's incentive, and they have their four boosts locked and loaded, ready to go. They're going to be getting 8 action points. They will receive maximum distribution share per node. So it's somebody with the same node, but the setup is the difference. Now, I want to talk about this, this distribution impact, and I think people have just been looking at it a little wrong. We've wrongly kind of just associated a node to a distribution, but like I said, um, there is a daily distribution that never changes. So each day of the year there is one number of tokens that is distributed out to all the action points. It doesn't care who you are, what color your skin is. It only cares about how many action points you have. It doesn't even care about if you have a node, because if you don't run it, you don't get nothing. It's all about action points. It always will be, and it always has been. We've just happened to associate a node to a distribution, but it's the point, the action point that you get for running your node that matters in that distribution. So more points gives you a bigger slice of this daily reward pool that stays stable for 365 days. So each day of the year until the halving, there is one number of tokens available. That number never changes. Okay? The only variable here is the amount of action points that you have against everybody else. So if you have fewer points, you're earning a smaller slice in that same distribution pool. You're less, you have less weight in it. So we're not earning fixed rewards. Every day, a fixed pool, distribution pool, is divided across all action points. So our action points, your action points, my action points determine your weight in that distribution, and your weight determines your share of rewards. This is why optimization matters. Um, Optimization beats accumulation. So I don't want to kind of crap on owning nodes. But if you're owning nodes and they're not fully optimized, you're literally screwing yourself. So owning more nodes does not guarantee better results. What matters more is how your nodes are optimized and connected and configured. So it's better to have one fully optimized node with 8 action points with a maximum share than just a couple nodes that aren't optimized at all, because you get more points. So the way your node is set up, how it's connected, beats quantity every single time. And if you look at the points and everything like that, you'll understand why. Because if I have 10 nodes and I do nothing, well, let's use this example. If I have 5 nodes and do nothing, that's 5 points. I have 5 shares in the distribution, right? If I have 5 nodes, oh, actually, let me do it like this. If I have one node and fully optimize it, I have 8 points. 8 points is better than 5 points. So my one node fully optimized will earn more rewards because it has more points than 5 nodes not optimized at all. 5 nodes, 5 points versus one node optimized 8 points. You see what I'm saying? So the setup beats quantity every time. This is about action points, guys. And so this is kind of like jumping on what I just talked about. So why I don't want to say most people, maybe that's a blanket term, but most people who don't pay attention will definitely underperform once this code goes live. It's not about what you own, it's really about what you're leaving unconfigured. So if you do not have a BlockBot connected to your brand node, or at least purchase a BlockBot in preparation for connection, you're missing out on a couple action points there. If you're not, considering, grabbing your boosts in preparation for that, you're leaving 4 points on the table. And if you're just counting nodes, not points, more nodes does not equal more rewards. I mean, it does, but there's a different way to maximize your points and distribution. And some people just won't pay attention and don't look. And if you don't verify kind of what you have in your setup, you kind of can't fix ignorance. So the gap between 1 point and 8 points is just how you configure it or how you're planning to configure it. Okay. Um, Again, your rewards will not be solely based on what you own. They're based on how you configure it. And some of this is redundant and repetitive, but it's really important that you guys understand this. So they're based on how you configure it. So how do you configure your brand smart node? You want to connect the BlockBot. So, me, what I'm doing is I'm making sure that I have a BlockBot for every brand node I have. Is it mandatory? No. If I want to be competitive in the distribution, then that's what I'm going to do. So that's what I did. I have a block bot for every node I've purchased. I've went to each brand section in the shopping cart and I have purchased a foundations node that comes with those boosts for every brand node I have. So when this thing kicks off and goes live, I have boosts that I can fully optimize this. And so I've verified, the preparation for my setup. Like obviously we can't plug anything in yet. And I've told people this before, guys. I make decisions based on what's coming, not what exists right now. And that's where I think a lot of my success in everything I've done in the blockchain space has been because I've had the ability to kind of like it's not a crystal ball. It's really just understanding like what we voted on, how the points work, what it's going to look like moving forward, and making my decisions based on that. So it's the configuration of everything, how things are connected, is the difference between a minimum or a maximum distribution. Okay. And this is really the end of my deck. Jake, you want to kind of maybe touch on some stuff or say anything here?
Yeah, just building some depth on top of this. That you can see there are incentives for us to establish and help build infrastructure. And what you're seeing here is the next evolution or like an upgrade in our not only blockchain tech, but everything that comes with it, the foundations tech and the AI technology that's coming. So let me kind of paint this picture of like where we've been and kind of where we're going. So, very early on, the blockchain was tiny. It had very minimal computational power because there wasn't that many nodes in the network. The algorithm, for the points-based system, is literally a built-in incentive for the network to grow, for more people to come in, plug in, bring more computational power that secures the network, that brings larger consensus, that brings better governance. All of this participation is only brought because of this points-based proof of action protocol, because you're rewarded to participate inside of it. It has a like a built-in self-incentivizing system so that the network can build itself out by all of us, the community. So you can see how the blockchain grew and got to a certain point where we're currently sitting. Now, if you want to bring in something else into that, let's say AI technology, AI technology again takes the same thing. It takes hardware, like it actually takes physical computers that have to be put on top of a system. It also takes software. So how do we don't get that from nothing? This actually takes being built out. Well, who's going to build that? It's going to be all of us. So whenever you want to have AI that can interact with your blockchain, a brand specific blockchain, who's going to bring that? All of the people. So if you put a incentive mechanism to have people bring that to the system, we all go out there and we do it. We chase it because we want to be rewarded to do so. So that those extra action points are put out there, and then we bring that to the table. So now, if you're hosting a brand specific block or a brand specific smart node, you're being incentivized for what you brought to the table on that. Now, if we're upgrading and we're bringing, say, AI, for instance, now there's an incentive to bring a BlockBot to the table and host that on some machinery somewhere, whether you're bringing your own hardware to the table and you're hosting at your house, or if you're on Amazon Web Services or Vultr, or if you're, uh, you know, we're working towards hosting on Codex. So that's a different infrastructure that some of us as community members are participating in, some of us are not. But that's hardware that the community owns, and you can see that we're starting to put this on this. That's cloud computational hardware and data centers that you're starting to see pop up all over the world, and we get to participate in that. So you can see how we're building this together and we are incentivized to help bring this to the table. So now, once we have that infrastructure built, you can see all of the interoperability that can come with utilizing AI plus blockchain. The AI doesn't come from nowhere. Like you literally have to have this infrastructure to support it. And to build that infrastructure, we're incentivized to actually take action on that and actually build that. So if you see, like for instance, on the Green community call last night, you can see the AI capabilities that are coming with PowerPay. That's literally coming because the BlockBot technology was coupled with the Web3 technology moving into Web4, where you can now upload your Power Bill. BlockBot can go through, scan, index all of that, input all of that data into the system for you, and it's making all of our lives easier. It's not possible unless we actually bring that BlockBot technology to the table. Now, going even further, the foundations technology, having interoperability on a layer zero blockchain so that we can have all of these interconnections amongst multiple blockchains again requires hardware and software. And it's not going to come from nowhere. So we are again incentivized to bring that to the table so that our entire ecosystem can expand and grow and have all of that. So that incentive is put out there to where if you want to bring that hardware and that software to the table, you absolutely can do that. And again, you're rewarded to do that. So if you want to fully optimize, you can look at just the points-based system, and that's all you have to understand. But I just kind of wanted to put a little more context on the why. Like, why are these point systems here? Why is that incentive actually there? And maybe help you wrap your mind around why that system is put out there. And it's truly to upgrade the network, to make it all faster, stronger, better interoperability and integrations for everything that's being built here. So that's pretty much all I had to put on top of that, John.
Cool. Cool. All right, guys. Yeah, we're gonna be doing a lot of as this kind of rolls out, and we're well, me specifically, I'm gonna start to do a lot of training on this and make this as clear as possible. It's probably not as clear as it could be, but I think a lot of things are gonna start to make sense as BlockBot not only rolls out in, the blockchain connection distribution, but also starts to, give utility beyond the blockchain connection, more from that kind of like AI layer that we can begin to interact with. So, really excited about it. I will have this video posted by end of day today. I'll put it in the Impact platform, and I'll also share the video. I think Jake has to run too. I gotta run today, guys. So this is gonna be a short one, short and to the point. With that, I want you guys to have a good, blessed rest of your day and a good weekend, and we'll look forward to seeing you guys on the next.
Bye, everyone.
Take care.